In the middle of the bright and colorful village of Naledi, the festival of Mask was happening. This wasn't just any festival. It was a special celebration of life and the traditions passed down from the village's ancestors. Drums filled the air with deep sounds and dancers twirled gracefully, wearing clothes as bright as the flowers in the jungle. In the middle of all this, Jabari stood out. He was not only wearing a fancy mask, but there was also something special in his eyes. Jabari was the village's best hunter, known for his quickness. But what really captured his heart was Anika, the potter's daughter. Her laughter was as pleasant as the sound of water flowing gently over stones, and her beauty was famous far and wide. Tonight, under the old baobab tree, he plans to share his feelings with her. Anika was dancing near the great baobab tree. She wore a colorful kente cloth that moved beautifully as she danced. Her hands, which were usually busy making pottery, danced along with the drums. Everyone who saw her couldn't help but smile. As the night went on, Jabari made his way through the crowd. He held a mask he had made just for Anika. This mask was very special, decorated with kingfisher feathers, baobab seeds, and painted with the red soil of their village. It was a symbol of love and loyalty. When the music slowed down, Jabari took a deep breath and approached Anika. He lifted his mask to show his face full of hope. "Anika," he said, his voice strong, "in front of our ancestors and under the baobab, I give you this mask. It's not just a mask, but a sign of who I really am, open and true." Anika stopped dancing and looked at Jabari. She was surprised, but touched by the beautiful mask and the honesty in Jabari's eyes. The people around sensed something important was happening and gave them space. Anika took the mask from Jabari, their fingers lightly touching. It felt like fate had brought them together. "Jabari," she said softly, amazed, "this is beautiful. But why choose me?" "Because," Jabari answered, "to me, you are like the baobab, strong, enduring, and the center of all beauty in our world. I give you my heart, Anika, hoping you'll accept it." As the festival went on around them, for Jabari and Anika, it felt like they were the only two people in the world. Jabari's gift was meant to show his true feelings, hoping to start a connection that would shape their future in ways they couldn't yet see. The morning after the festival of Mask, the sun rose bright over the village of Naledi, lighting up the hearts and reminding everyone of the fun night. But for Jabari, this new day brought a big challenge that could change his future with Anika. Ekene, a rich trader who was known for his smart business ways, had watched Jabari and Anika at the festival. Ekene didn't have Jabari's strength or his deep love for village traditions, but he was wealthy and powerful, and he wanted Anika to be his wife. He thought Anika's skill in pottery could help him become even more successful. As the village woke up, Ekene walked confidently to Anika's home. It was quiet except for the sound of Anika working on a pottery under a mango tree. Ekene brought a gift to impress her, a pair of beautiful gold earrings from faraway Timbuktu, shining and delicate. "Anika, daughter of Naledi," Ekene said smoothly, holding out the sparkling earrings. "These are just a small sign of the life I can give you. With me, you'll have everything you need. Your talent should be used with the best materials, not just the clay here, but also gems and metals from around the world. Anika stopped working and looked at Ekene. The earrings glittered in his hand, tempting her with a chance for a secure life. But she remembered Jabari's simple mask, which was a gift of love, not just riches. Ekene noticed her hesitation and added, "Think of your family, Anika. With me, they'll be comfortable too. I admire your pottery skills and would love to have you as my wife. We could be a great team." The village was buzzing with talk about Ekene's proposal. Jabari heard the news as he came back from hunting, and his heart felt heavy. Anika had to choose between two very different futures. One with lots of money and security with Ekene, and one filled with love but less certainty with Jabari. Ekene waited for her answer. Anika looked at the shiny earrings and then thought about the baobab tree where she and Jabari had shared a special moment. It was a tough decision. Would she choose the shiny wealthy part with Ekene or the deeper loving part with Jabari? Everyone in the village waited quietly for Anika's decision, and Jabari, full of both hope and worry, prepared himself for whatever she would decide. This wasn't just about who Anika would marry. It was about what kind of life she believed in, and her choice would affect everyone in Naledi. As the sun rose higher in the sky over the village of Naledi, the air was thick with tension. Jabari, feeling a mix of hope and worry. What has Anika thought about Ekene's rich offer? Jabari didn't have much money, but he believed that their love and shared values were more precious. Feeling both nervous and brave, Jabari made a bold decision to challenge Ekene in a way that would test their true intentions and values. That afternoon, in the village center beneath the big baobab tree, with elders enjoying palm wine and kids playing around, Jabari called for everyone's attention. He proposed a traditional test called Races of the Spirit. This wasn't just a physical test, it was also about showing one's true spirit and intentions. Ekene, Jabari said loudly and clearly, "You want to marry Anika by promising her wealth and comfort. I offer my heart and my efforts. Let's both show our true worth to Anika and our ancestors. Let's compete at the races of the spirit tomorrow at sunrise. May the spirits guide her in choosing." The villagers whispered excitedly among themselves. This was more than just a challenge. It was a thrilling test of endurance, cleverness, and bravery. Ekene, surprised by Jabari's challenge, was too proud to back down and agreed to it. That evening, under the stars, the village elders explained the rules of the challenge, the rules of races of the spirit. The first part was a race from the village to the top of Mount Nia, testing their strength and stamina. The second part, at the mountain peak, was to create a symbol out of natural materials, showing their hopes for a life with Anika, a test of creativity and deep thought. Anika spent that night talking with the elder women in the village, trying to find some advice. Some women talked about the benefits of being wealthy, while others spoke about the value of true love and shared challenges. As the dawn broke with beautiful pink and orange colors, the villagers gathered to watch the race. The air was filled with excitement and a sense of importance, as if the spirits of their ancestors were watching too. Jabari and Ekene stood ready to run, looking serious and determined. When the horn from a buffalo sounded, They both started running fast, kicking up dust. The villagers cheered, their voices echoing the runners' quick steps. Anika watched nervously from under the baobab tree, hoping for guidance from the ancestors. As Jabari and Ekene ran into the woods together towards the mountain, everyone looked at Anika, seeing the worry in her eyes. This race was about more than just speed. It was about showing who they really were inside. Each step they took would help Anika decide her future and show the true nature of the men who wanted to marry her. Jabari and Ekene started their tough climb up Mount Nia. The path was narrow and surrounded by thick trees like baobab and acacia. Jabari moved quickly and easily because he knew the land well and loved to run through it often. Ekene, strong but not used to such wild paths, found it harder. He tripped over roots and stumbled on rocks trying to keep up. As they climbed higher, the path got steeper and the air became thinner. It was a hot day and the sun was directly above them, making their challenge even stronger and tougher. Jabari felt strong, thinking about how every step brought him closer to winning the race for Anika. Ekene, trying to catch up, sometimes took shortcuts he knew from his trading trips. Halfway up, Jabari found a hidden spring, a special place few knew about. Remembering what the elders taught about respecting nature, he paused to say a prayer and left a small wooden figure by the spring as a thank you. He drank some water and felt refreshed, happy to honor his village's traditions. Ekene saw Jabari stop and thought it was silly to pause during such an important race. He didn't stop at the spring, focusing only on winning, not on old traditions. The last part of the climb was the hardest. The mountain seemed to fight against them as they climbed the steep rocky paths. Jabari was tired, but kept his lead. Ekene, determined not to lose, pushed himself hard and caught up to Jabari. Finally, they reached the top of Mount Nia together, both out of breath, but also feeling a bit of respect for each other because of the tough climb they just finished. The top of the mountain had a beautiful view of their village far below. It was covered in sunlight with wild flowers and old stones around. The village elder at the top said the race was a tie because they arrived at the same time. Now, they had to start the next challenge. They had to use clay, stones, and plants found at the top to make a vessel, a type of pot, showing their plans and dreams for a life with Anika. Both Jabari and Ekene got to work, using the last of their energy to make something beautiful and meaningful. The sun started to set, casting long shadows over the mountain. The vessels they were making would show Anika and the elders what kind of life they hoped to build with her. This race and crafting test weren't just about who was faster or who could make a better pot. It was about showing their true selves, their respect for tradition, and their love for Anika. As the first stars appeared, they worked carefully, knowing that what they created could change their lives. As evening fell on Mount Nia, it became very quiet. Jabari and Ekene were both busy working on a special craft project after their tough race up the mountain. They were making vessels or pots, but this was more than just a regular art project. It was a chance to show their deep connection to the village's traditions and the land. Jabari decided to use the red clay found at the top of the mountain. This clay was special because it held the warmth of the sun well. He mixed it with water, from a sacred spring they had passed during their climb, making his creation even more meaningful. Jabari shaped the clay into a water pot and decorated it with designs of the baobab tree, which stands for strength and endurance, and lines that crisscrossed to show how all life in the village was connected. His pot was a tribute to the life he hoped to build with Anika. Meanwhile, Ekene wanted to impress everyone with something unique. He picked smooth stones and plant fibers to make his pot. His design was modern and stylish, showing off patterns he had learned from his travels far from the village. His pot looked amazing and very different, but it didn't have the traditional symbols that Jabari's had. When they were done, the village elder and some others came to see what Jabari and Ekene had made. They first looked at Jabari's pot, touching the dried clay and admiring the symbols that meant so much to their culture. They could see that Jabari's pot was full of love for the village and its ways. Then, they looked at Ekene's pot. It was beautiful and showed off his skill and knowledge of the world. However, it didn't feel as connected to the village's spirit as Jabari's did. The elders talked it over for a long time. They liked Ekene's creativity, but felt Jabari's pot better represented what their village stood for, which was tradition, unity, and strength. Finally, the elder announced their decision. "Both of you have shown us great skill," he said. "Ekene, your pot shows us exciting ideas and new ways. Jabari, your pot reminds us of our roots and what keeps us together. We choose Jabari's pot because it shows the heart of our village and what we want for our future." Jabari smiled, relieved and happy, looking for Anika in the crowd to share his joy. Ekene was disappointed, but tried to hide it, stepping back gracefully. The challenge was over, and the elders had made their choice, but Anika would have the last word on who she would marry. As everyone started to head back down the mountain, the stars above seemed to sparkle a little brighter, watching over them and blessing the moment. As the morning sun began to light up the sky with golden and amber colors, everyone walked down from Mount Nia quietly. They were all thinking about what had happened the night before. Anika walked with them, feeling very unsure and mixed up inside. The challenge on the mountain had shown the villagers how different Jabari and Ekene were, but it didn't make Anika's choice any easier. Jabari stayed close to Anika, quietly supporting her, while Ekene walked a bit ahead, probably planning what to do next. As they got closer to the village, people started gathering around, curious to hear who won the craft test and what Anika would decide. When they reached the middle of the village, the elder spoke up. He said good things about both Jabari's love for tradition and Ekene's new ideas. The villagers listened and talked among themselves, wondering what Anika would choose. Anika then stood in front of everyone. Her voice was clear, but her hands were a little shaky. "Thank you, Jabari and Ekene, for everything you've done," she said. "You both showed your strengths and dreams for our future." She looked at Jabari and then at Ekene, seeing both hope and worry in their eyes. "But choosing someone to marry, someone to share my life with, can't just be about challenges or what other people want," Anika continued. She turned to Jabari and said, "Jabari, you've shown me your true heart, not just with your gifts, but with how much you honor our ways and how you see us growing together, strong like the baobab tree." Then she faced Ekene and added, "And Ekene, you've shown me a big, exciting world, offering a life full of comfort and security." Everyone held their breath, waiting to see what she would do. Anika took a deep breath, feeling sure about her choice. I want a life that respects our past and looks forward to our future. I want a partner who treats me as an equal, sharing all the good times and tough times. She reached for Jabari's hand. I choose Jabari. The crowd cheered, happy with a choice that matched their values. Ekene looked sad, but nodded his head in respect. He walked up to Jabari and shook his hand. Take good care of her and our village, he said seriously. After that, there was a big celebration with music and dancing. Everyone in the village came together to celebrate Jabari and Anika's promise to each other under the baobab tree. As the sun got higher in the sky, Anika and Jabari stood together, ready to start their new life. They were happy, feeling loved and supported by everyone. The village felt stronger too, knowing that keeping their traditions alive while welcoming new ideas would make them even better, just like Jabari and Anika's life together will be. Years went by after Anika chose Jabari by the old baobab tree in their village. Their life together blossomed beautifully, just like the land does after the rainy season, with everything growing and full of colors. Jabari and Anika weren't just a couple. They became important people in their village, helping everyone and teaching their children and all the village kids. Their home was a favorite place for everyone, always open and welcoming. Anika taught pottery to the kids, showing them how to make beautiful things from clay and connect with the art and their history. Jabari used his hunting skills to teach the kids how to understand nature and live peacefully with it. As they got older, their love grew even stronger. They started new traditions, mixing the old ways with new ideas. They even began a festival of arts and nature that people from far away would come to see every year. The baobab tree, where they promised to be together forever, grew strong and tall, just like their love. People started calling it the Whispering Baobab because it felt like it could talk on quiet nights, sharing wise words from the ancestors about choosing love and togetherness over everything else. When Jabari and Anika celebrated their 50th anniversary, it was a big party that everyone in the village joined. They renewed their promises to each other, and the elder who had watched Jabari's crafting years ago blessed them again. He was very happy as he remembered how they came together. Let's remember this tree and this couple, the elder said to everyone. They show us how strong we can be when we love, respect, and keep our traditions alive. As the day ended and the sun set, making everything look golden, everyone started singing and dancing. The smell of roasted corn filled the air and laughter was everywhere. Children danced around the elders who told stories about past challenges and great love stories like Jabari and Anika's, which had become a central part of the village's history. Jabari and Anika held hands, watching everyone enjoy the festival. They were happy because they had built a great life together and left a legacy that would inspire many generations to come. In a quiet moment under the baobab tree, they looked at each other, their eyes shining in the light of the fires, thinking about all the memories they shared. As stars began to show up in the sky, one star shone brighter than the others right above the baobab tree. It seemed like the spirits of the ancestors were happy with what Jabari and Anika had built. A life of wisdom, a life full of love and togetherness, just like the strong ancient tree had seen it all. The story, deep in the heart of Africa, continued to be whispered by the baobab leaves, a never-ending tale of how true love can make the world a better place. Dear listeners, the moral of this story, The Whispering Baobab, is that true love and commitment, rooted in mutual respect and shared values, are more valuable than material wealth and personal gain. This story illustrates the importance of honoring traditions and the environment while embracing change and innovation for the betterment of the community. This story teaches us that the strength of a community lies in these bonds of love, respect, and tradition, which each generation must choose to uphold and pass on. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through the heart of Africa, under the shade of the Whispering Baobab, where the echoes of true love remind us of the enduring power of deep connections and shared dreams. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you again, and I love you. Stay blessed.